You're the one who has to feed your own soul. You're the one who has to do your own thing. So it's only about you. Do you want to step up a level? Do you want to go back a level? Do you want to stay where you are at that level right now? You know, where are you at? Do you want to step up half a step? You know, it's all, you're competing with yourself and comparing yourself with yourself.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest, and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
And we're on. Oops.
And we're on.
Hello, dear Deb. It's Deborah and Moira here with some deliciously motivating conversations. Well, that's the intent anyways, right?
Definitely. Woo-hoo-hoo. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
See, good for you. We had to have a little bit of music or singing from Debz.
Yeah, it's been a while. Da, 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 da. Oh no, usually the music comes after we've said what are we talking about. And the standard is, today's a goodie.
This is going to be the best one yet. But before we tell our listeners what we're going to talk about, we like to just check in with our energy. We like to check in with our energy, and we encourage our listeners to check in. And we rate ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10. So 10 is being so overwhelmed and stuck and stressed and, oh my God, I need every piece of help I can possibly get. And 0 is like, I am at one with the universe. All is well at ground zero here.
Let's just let the listeners know that we've already talked for, I just looked at the time, 90 minutes on things. So
just
maybe whenever we start our calls, Moira, maybe we rate ourselves then, and then we rate ourselves again when we start the podcast.
This is very true.
Because last night I gave myself a brain fry and had to take a pill and go to bed because everything was too much in my head. And then
so
I spoke to you this morning.
At like a 9 then.
I was a 9.5, so much that I popped a foo-foo valve in my brain and I couldn't figure out what the frick I was doing. And so I brain dumped you and then went to bed and slept. And then, I would have been a 9.5 last night. And then I spoke to you this morning, and within a minute you're like, why are you I said, I think I'm overcomplicating this, just as your mouth came out of, you're overcomplicating this. I'm like, okay, just do this. I'm like, yeah. And so then all of a sudden I went straight to a 4, like from that 9.5 to you're right. This is way complicated. And now I'm different. And the listeners are probably going, okay, can you just tell us what your rating is now, Deborah? My rating now is, let's just say, give it a 3. Actually, I feel it's probably more a 2.5. A 2. A 2. I'm going to say a 2 because, it just feels like it's going to be not that nothing can get to me, but it feels like things are in alignment.
Things are feeling pretty good. No, and do you know what? I'm actually at a 2 myself. That's kind of where I generally
No, don't do the same as me.
Oh, no, hey, we're going to talk about competing and comparing.
You can't be the same as me.
But what I wanted to say...
No, you can't be a 2. You have to be a 2.1 or a 1.9.
Okay, I'm going to be a 1.75 if it keeps you happy.
Then I think I'm a 1.5.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that this was going to be comic relief today.
Well, it's a great topic too.
What I wanted to just point out though is what you just shared, and I think it's really important to share that and help people see what Deborah shared there, is that we do move up and down just like that. Like you said, Deb, you were so super stressed out and you had to knock yourself out and then talk things through.
Two Panadols, a big glass of water, and snore all night long. Thank goodness, because if I'd gone to bed and it kept ticking away. Ooh.
Oh, you'd have been still ruminating and trying to figure it all out. But that's why I'm saying is that doing these checking in with numbers, it's just a really important part about helping you feel into your own emotions and what do you need to do, So for you felt super stressed out, you needed to pop some pills and get some sleep. That's it. It's okay.
Yeah. And send you an email to brain dump my brain.
So good. So good. We all have to do what we need to do. But here's the thing. So what we're going to talk about today is competing and comparing, which I thought was a beautiful segue into that.
Yeah, it's where we literally just competed and compared our numbers together.
I know. Too fun. So here, and actually, before we hopped into our recording, what did you use? You used something to describe competing and comparing. I think you said something like soul destroying.
Oh, it's soul destroying. Yeah, competing and comparing can be soul destroying. Because and as soon as we said the words competing and comparing, and listeners, so we don't preempt these. We have a list of things we're going to talk about, and Moira chooses the list because I'm not that savvy on Google Docs. I just go, we could talk about this, and this, and then she goes, today we're talking about competing, and I'm like, great. And we have a glass of water, we have a little cough and a sniffle and a blow our nose, and then we're into it. So there's no prep for the stuff. What we talk about, it just comes from our soul and our mind and our skill set that we have.
Yeah.
So competing and comparing, when Moira said competing and comparing, I went, oh, that's such a soul destroyer, because that comes into my mind and my memories of the past when I've competed with people and compared things, and in business, in life, in relationships, with money, physical, anything, and it has been a soul destroyer, and you're on somebody else's train, but that's come from my memories that I've held on to, right. And from the clients that I've worked with, when they say, oh, I see what so-and-so's doing, and I just, I want to be like that, or whatever it is, and to me it is just a soul destroyer until you can leverage from it and use it as a leap.
Absolutely, and that's well said. So it's something that comes up a lot in client conversations, and for me too in the past. But I'm very grateful that really what I do, and here's the healthy aspect of competing and comparing. I think my belief is I will compare myself to younger versions of me. That's it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I like that.
So see, here I am in my 50s. I'm older, I'm wiser, and I can look at Moira when she was in her 30s and go, wow, look at, I have this skill set, I have this awareness, I have this ability, I have this compassion, I have this acceptance. So to me, that's what we all need to do, because if I flipped that and I started to compare myself, let's just say if I started to compare myself with you. Well,
you'd have to dye your hair blonde to start with. And swear a lot more.
I used to.
Snort with your laughter. Yeah.
I used to have blonde. I used to have my hair dyed blonde. See, this is the 30-something version of me was.
Oh, this is the 30s. Okay, comparing yourself. Okay.
Blonde highlight.
I reckon I've gone darker over the years. Anyway, go back. Yeah. Compare myself to my 20-year-old daughter. Yeah.
But you see, what happens when we compare ourselves to somebody else, or we try and compete because we have to say, well, I need to be better than that, or I have to achieve more than that, right? It's like, oh, I see somebody earning X amount of money and I have to get more than that. So that's why we kind of lump these two together, because competing and comparing, for me, the actual thing, destructive part of comparing is that I know all aspects of me. I know what I'm thinking. I know what I'm feeling. I know what my patterns and what my mindset is. I only know the outward facing projection of somebody else. Right? I don't know what you're thinking or what you're feeling unless you tell me, or unless you share that. And so, like I said, you present yourself in a specific way. So if I start comparing myself and saying, oh, well, Deb's got it all together because she's this and she's that, I'm actually doing myself and you a disservice.
Yeah.
Because it's not like to like. We can't, and that's how come I'm saying I find it much healthier to compare myself to past versions of me.
I love that idea because you actually can't not compare.
No, it's human condition. It's a human.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
So what you've done is you've put that word or that trait or action into a package of, okay, I'm going to have to compare. What am I going to compare it to? Me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me. And that is so much healthier. I believe it's healthier than comparing to your neighbor, your ex, your whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're, at the end of the day, you're in competition with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. You're the one who has to feed your own soul. You're the one who has to do your own thing. So it's only about you. Do you want to step up a level? Do you want to go back a level? Do you want to stay where you are at that level right now? Where are you at? Do you want to step up half a step? It's all, you're competing with yourself and comparing yourself with yourself. I love that idea.
And to your point too, about the soul destroying part, I think that when we compare ourselves to other people, we tend to negate and deny the fact that we are always doing our best. Everyone is doing their best. I firmly believe that, and I always have. But and we've talked about this before, Deb, that today your best might not be as good as a day where you've taken care of everything and you've had a great sleep and you've had plenty of water and you're feeling rested and ready to take on the world. But if you're feeling tired and you're feeling like you've got 100 thoughts running through and too many deadlines to meet, then your best is not going to be the same. But when we compare ourselves to somebody else and go, well, yeah, but look at what they've done, and I'm not as good as that, or I must become better than I am, then you're actually denying yourself the fact that you need to love and accept yourself first.
You're denying your genius. You're denying your magnificence. You're denying who you truly are, because we do, just like what you've said, we do what we can with everything we've got right here, right now.
Yep. And
you do your best. And I guess, like, social media, I'm just going to say it. Social media is it's a great platform, but for frick's sake, there's so much that goes on those Instagram, photos. And I know I took a photo of a woman probably about 7 years ago, and I didn't think she was that. She just said, oh, can you get a photo of me with so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And we must have taken about 55, it was over 50 photos.
Oh my goodness.
So, oh my gosh, I reckon my thumb got sore, like posing and just standing there taking the frickin' photo. Like, it was just, and so I took like 5 or 6, and she goes, now let me have a look. And she's like, no. And then we'd take another lot, and she'd go, can't you do this right? You need to stand on this angle, hold you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just a flippin' photo. But when I went and, like, now I see her Instagram, and those photos are pristine. They are, highlighted and lighting and everything. And I'm just like, hey, here's a selfie of me, or here's my quote, or here's my new shoes that I bought.
Yeah.
And that's me being me, but I'm not the angle. But honestly, I must have taken over 50 photos of her.
And it was because she wanted this specific mask to be shown.
She wanted that perfection, 100% perfection. And even if it wasn't, I mean, I even, well, actually it was quite interesting because when I go back to that moment now and I'm thinking, you ain't all that, love. You ain't all that. And really, we're doing all that. And that's what I was thinking at the time. So I guess my energy probably wasn't in it. Definitely wasn't in it. But she was competing and comparing with everyone else and had to have her social media pristine.
Right.
And I see those out there. And I guess it's one of the things that I love about you and me is that we are transparent enough that, you know, I said I took 2 Panadol and went to bed last night because I blew a brain in my brain, you know, I blew that because it's transparency, because it's real. And I would like to be real to people, and people know me and appreciate me for being real. And you're the same, you know. We have some raw conversations about realness, and there's things you can give to the public and things that you hold back, and that's totally okay. But I'm not competing and comparing for the perfect. I don't want people to fall in love with who I am and my business because it's 100% perfect, because it's not. And I don't want it to be 100% perfect, because I'm just going to get stagnant.
But,
you know.
But the beauty is in the imperfection. And to your point, it's by showing up and being vulnerable and being completely available to show up as authentically you. And that is so me. Do you know, as you're telling that story, a funny story just popped into my mind to share about this thing of being willing to just be real. Because, and that is who I am. And perhaps that's why I think it's so important to help people unpack this thing around competing and comparing. What this happened is, gosh, it's got to be about 10, 12 years ago. A friend of mine phoned up, and it was like on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and she said, "What are you doing?" Well, I was shaving my legs. I was getting ready to go out and I was shaving my legs. So I said, I was shaving my legs. She couldn't get over it, and actually came up so many times. She could not believe that I said, "I'm shaving my legs." I'm like, well, what was I supposed to say? That's what I was doing. But she said that I was the only person she ever knew that would just tell you what was going on.
Oh, wow.
She asked me a question. So she would have made up a story because, you know, maybe she doesn't shave her legs. Well, actually, she did, but...
Well, that to me is sad, that you can't say, when someone says to you, "What are you doing?" Well, I guess I'm probably too honest. I know my partner says sometimes your honesty, as much as it's refreshing, it's a bit cringy sometimes. Whoops.
Well,
maybe
I can be. Maybe I resemble that a wee bit too. But that one always struck me as funny, because I thought, well, what's wrong with that? I was just, you know, you caught me at the moment that I was shaving my legs. Yeah,
and well, I guess 15 years ago or 10 years ago, you know, that probably would have been a little bit of a thing that people don't talk about. And I guess it's a generation. You know, I know some of the things I say, and my great auntie Floss would cringe sometimes and go, "Lady." She would just say, "Lady." Okay. And it's a generation of her being 99.
Right.
And a lady doesn't say that. A lady doesn't say that. I'm like, okay, well, I guess.
But I'm not a lady.
Not going to be a lady today because it's already out. So a lady wouldn't say, "Shave your legs." And I remember my nana said, was it my nana? I don't even know who it was. It was somebody who said, "Would you say that in front of the Queen?"
Oh.
Well, half my conversations I wouldn't say in front of the Queen, yes. But then if I'm going to hold my tongue on those things and talk differently, then that's not me.
No.
So I would rather just be authentic to the Queen. And I guess it's just because we do look at the Queen and we go, oh, or some people do, some people don't. You know, oh, like she's the Queen, you know, she's going to drink with her finger in the air. That's a little finger in the air.
Should just qualify for that.
Yeah,
but that's an interesting point, though, because that to me would be the epitome of comparing. Because let's face it, if I did sit down and have a conversation with the Queen, it would be because...
Or would you tell the Queen you shaved your legs if she asked you? "What did you do this morning?" "Shave my legs."
Well, I might not.
But that's because she hasn't rung you at that time.
That's exactly right. It was like, she's not going to interrupt me. I'm not going to run out the washroom.
Well, I've got a call
pick up
coming
the
of the
phone.
Queen. I just quickly shave my legs now. Oh, she's rung early. What are you doing, Moira? Is now a good time to talk? No, I'm shaving my legs. Can you call back in 5 minutes?
But you see, so here's the thing is, well, here's another piece about me that here's obviously going to be just really vulnerable and share things about me.
Oh no, what else did you shave? Okay, we're ready. We'll just take it there. We'll just go there, Moira. And all my people who know me are going, uh-oh, did Debz just say that? Uh-oh, okay. I'll be a lady. Okay, Moira, yes, share.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
But the thing is that it is all about just being willing to show up and be and say and do who I am. I'm gonna let you in. And if somebody asks me to rehearse something, I can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have and this is just part of my own makeup, is that I'll know what to say in that moment. And that's how come you and I have such fun conversations, because we can't script these or make these up in advance, because I don't know what I'm going to say. If you made me sit down and script something, it would be so stilted. In fact, it did happen to me once where somebody interviewed me and it was a requirement that I had to script the whole thing out. I tell you, it's
I couldn't do it.
Worst interview I've ever done in my entire career, entire life, because I am a very much in the moment person. Ask me something and I'll share. Ask me something and I'll share again. But and maybe this is just part of my own makeup, is I have always, all my life, resisted that. Tell me what you're going to say when you get there. Tell me what you say if you're going to meet the Queen. I don't know. If I meet the Queen, I'll know it when I meet the Queen. Do you know what I mean? So to me, that takes away the propensity to compete and compare, because I'm just going to trust that it'll work out the right way.
Yeah.
The way for me.
And I think that's so for me, when I do my videos and my public talks and talks, I know the topic and I know the 5 things I'd like to get across.
Right.
But, the 5 key messages to get them to that step, or 3 key messages. But I don't know the audience. If I have somebody, and if I'm scripted, I just can't do it. It just drives me insane. But if I'm scripted and somebody has a massive cough, or somebody has something during the thing, and I go, oh no, I've got to stick to script, instead of starting to entangle that cough into or someone has a sneeze and entangle that sneeze into my talk or my video or whatever it is, that to me is a greater skill for being authentic, for being who I am, instead of going, oh no, I can't even acknowledge that sneeze or that cough, or that person needs a glass of water, whatever, I have to keep going. These are my things I need to talk about. It's just so tough to say, but you know the message you're going to get across clearly. Yes. But you don't need that scripting. I know when I had to introduce a certain person many times, and I had a script, it would drive me insane. I would have sweat nearly dripping off my chin. The whole thought of it, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to say it this way, and it's being recorded and it's on video, and oh no, and I have to say A, B, C, D, and I have to say it in that way and pause in that tone. That was not, meeting. No. And that was a way of competing, because the other person did it that way. So you have to do it that way. Right. And it would cause me, and in the end I just said, look, after about the 7th time, I said, I can't introduce you like this. Can I please just say my stuff? Please. And the speaker said yes, but the organisation said no. But the organisation was never around.
So good.
Yeah, so that was about competing with the last person who used to do it. You had to do it this way. This
Right.
works around the world. This is how we do it.
Right.
Okay, that's great.
Just because it works for everybody else doesn't mean it has to for you. And that's the other part too, is that what you just said is like the proof that it didn't work. Just
you can't. I'm a firm believer on you can't. And I know there's a few things you've got to get across when you introduce people. That's great. But if you're talking to a group of women, you're going to introduce differently to a group of men, to a group of children, to a group of teenagers. You know that. So the script is challenging for me because I would like to adapt it to those people. And if somebody does cough when you're introducing somebody or something, you want to just go, oh, come on, everybody, look, we've got to get them a glass of water, or you shouldn't have drunk that, sculled that vodka, or, you want to bring that in and make people feel more relaxed while you're relaxed, instead of going, I have to say this and this.
Energy. It's totally all about energy. Do you know, I was just thinking of, there's a workshop, a class that I teach to help people access their intuition. And I've taught that, gosh, I probably taught it about 20 times. And to your point, I know my stuff. I know my stuff inside and out. I know what all the different aspects of intuition and, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, things like that.
Yeah.
I know all that information inside and out. And do you know that I have had people take that workshop multiple times, and each time it's completely different?
Oh,
because that's what I just said. It's all about energy. And so to your point, you just said, you go into a presentation knowing I'm going to share these 5 things. But that is actually going to be completely impacted by the energy that you show up with, that you show up in company of, right? So if it's a whole big gathering of businessmen, it's going to still be the same content, but it's going to be languaged and energetically packaged to suit them.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's it is to your point, is that you can't script that, you can't prepare it, but you kind of can. And it's to your point earlier too, you shared with our listeners that we don't script or plan these, but we share from our own wealth of wisdom and experience. So we do know what we want to share and teach and inspire with, but we just take it from there, right?
And we don't know. I don't know what you're going to come out with.
No.
So imagine if you said something, I'd be like, hang on, that's not the script. How am I going to pull this back? Now I just need to listen to her until I can find an a way in. That's it. But I just find, look, I understand, prepping for talks and prepping for your videos and things like that. I get that. And practicing and knowing what you're going to say to a certain degree, because they are the key points you'd like to get across. And I go back to that social media, that person who I took 1 million photos for. It felt like 1 million photos. Clearly wasn't. Or probably Bloomer was. But, I go back to that and I look at that and I go, gosh, if I was, if she just actually stood there and just said, look, I'm just going to be natural, that would have been, and I find when I take 10 photos of something, like, you go click, 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 it's the very first photo that's actually the perfect one. Yeah. Because that's that, here I am, and then you go, oh, I need to pose differently, I need to do this, this, and this. And I find when you do click 10 photos on a selfie, if you do, just because I took some photos the other day and I was like, click, 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 and my partner was just like, would you please stop taking photos? I'm like, and that's the first one. It was the first one that was perfect. Yeah. And it is that one because that's the natural, that's not competing with all the others. That's, that's just the natural and being yourself. And then you compare them with all the others and you're like, oh no, look how I tried to pose and turn my head and do whatever it was. And it just wasn't right.
So that's a fascinating piece that you just brought in there, Deb, because it makes me think that, like you just said, you caught the best one first time through. But then the little inner critic comes in and says, oh, but what will so-and-so think if they saw that? Or, oh my gosh, I could look better. Or I'd like to present to this person or this group, or, right? There's competing and comparing all over the place. And it's actually based on that wee inner judge voice. Well, that wasn't very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ooh, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? Look at the way you know, and I just talked about a selfie, but that's that whole thing. But yeah, definitely. And in business, you know, somebody sent me a message recently and said, oh, are you going to do something like so-and-so? And I looked and I said, oh, I don't know what they're doing because they blocked me many years ago. So they said, oh, here's the link. So I had a nosy and then went, oh God, no, I'm not going to do anything like that. Right. And so I came back and I said, no, that doesn't interest me. I'm currently building this, and this. And then over the next day I was going, wow. And I realized I went back to that person's link twice to have a look at it. And then each time I went, oh no, definitely not. So it was quite an interesting competing and comparing to actually go into judgment of no way am I going to do it, instead of going, oh, I'm jealous, they're doing this, they're doing what I want to do. I was literally, no way, I'm not doing it. No. And when I went back a couple of times, I'm like, still, I looked and I went, let's just have a look. And did you overreact? Let's go back in it. And I'm, nah.
So it's just not you.
Yeah. And so then I giggled and then went, wow, you've probably wasted 15 or 20 minutes of energy comparing yourself to somebody to go and then go, why would they charge that price? Why would they do it that way? Why would they, you know? And then I went, oh, this is wasting your energy. So it was, so that competing and comparing, I was very firm on the no, they're not my competition. But then I still dabbled back.
Right. So what was it that made you go back? Was there a conversation in your own mind that said,
I went back and I went, I went back and then went, did I dismiss this too quickly?
Okay.
From my ego or whatever it is, like, I know better than them. They've blocked me. They don't, you know, they're not my competition.
Right.
And I went, oh, maybe I dismissed that too quickly. Let's go back and have a look. And I went back and had a look at their program and then went, oh, no way. No, not for what they're giving. That wouldn't work. That's not how I would like to deliver, you know, And then I went back the third time purely from a technical point of view to go, oh, how have they built this? Because that stuff drives me insane. I just, you know, that whole technical side, I can feel a headache coming on already. You know, how do they build this? And then I went and I started looking and then went, why are you even looking at this? It makes no difference how they build it, Deborah. This stuff drives you literally insane. And you'll know that, Moira, when you come to a podcast. You do the back end and our team, and you're a genius. And I'm like, okay, I'll just turn up and talk. Okay, what do you want me to do? I'm still getting used to Google Docs. But it did. So I went back and then I've probably wasted 15, 20 minutes comparing me to that person. And then I went, no, definitely not. And then I became incredibly grateful that they had blocked me. Because they don't enter my mind.
Right.
I don't go, what are they doing? You know, and I think that's the other thing is, you know, probably about 5 months ago, I unfollowed a whole heap of people and stopped looking at groups on social media and friends and stuff, because I was going, oh, look at them doing that. Oh, wow.
Right,
and I noticed that and going, oh, they're doing that program, or they're doing that, or they have this. And I went, you know what? This is not you. Get out of it. Well, why are you time wasting? Why, you know, I think the great thing is acknowledging, seeing that you do it, and then questioning yourself.
Right.
Is what, like you said, why was that important for you to go back? What?
Yeah.
You know, should I do that?
Because the thing that I was wondering, and I think that is a key component, is the to step into it and realize I'm draining my energy. But the other thing, and I think we've talked a wee bit about this before, is it's kind of like derailing or diluting what you really want, what's really true for you. So for instance, many years ago when I got my current branding done, I was told that that for my coaching site, I wasn't to put my picture on it, my face, because the company said, well, you're not a real estate agent. It's only real estate agents that market with their face. And I thought, oh, okay, you know, they're the experts, but I've always had great feedback.
Those damn experts.
But the thing was I've always had great feedback that people go to my website and they feel like they get to know me. And then when they meet me in person, it's like, well, that's the same person that I interacted with on Facebook or on your website. And so I kept looking, to your point about kept going back and looking at other places, and I ended up saying no. I actually had it redone and put my picture back. But that was me giving, it was the competing and comparing that allowed me to sort of derail my own inner knowing.
Well, that's also listening to an expert too, who we think has it all. Yeah. And those fingers in the air. I'm sure there's those type.
Actually, that company went out of business not that long after, so maybe there was some wisdom in that too.
Well, I mean, I remember when we talked about when I got my first business card, someone said, you have to put your photo on there. And I went, why? Like, why? And they said, and the guy said, because, that was when I went to have a designer do it. He said, put your photo on there. And I went, why? Like, well, I didn't want my photo. He goes, because you go to a marketing event and they get 10 cards or 50 cards that you want them to remember you. And I went, they'll remember me. And he said, will they? And then I thought, you're right. Okay, put your face on there. And so I just put my face on everywhere. You know, even
you
have to have your face out there. Yeah, I don't think anything of it. Yeah, that's me. And in 10 years' time, I look different, or whatever. That's still my face, still right you. Here. Yeah, right now. Yeah.
But you know, and that's actually a really good point that person made to you. The person that got me to first put my face on my business card said to me that people will not throw away a card with a face on it because to them that's a person.
Oh, so wow. I'll put my face on everything. I have no problems. I want to create playing cards with my face on. And I got designs, and Mum's like, really, Deborah? I'm like, yeah, I didn't think anything of it. She's like, you want people having, yeah, I didn't think about it. Like, yeah, that's me. That's my branding. Yeah, poor mum. But competing and comparing, yeah. Right. But we do listen to experts, and we do see these people, and we decide what we think's best sometimes.
Right. But the thing is, even when listening to an expert, I think it's really important to still come back to, does this resonate with me? Energetically, can I feel the yes in this? You know, so we both just shared about us having our faces on our business cards. There was a yes. There may have been a bit of a resistance, but there was a yes. Like, it was explained to me to the point of like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
to you.
Yeah, first I'm like, why do you want to know? I've never seen a business. And it is because back in that day, you had to be a real estate agent. That's how your face was out there. Mm-hmm. But now, I mean, if you, like when they said you want to go to an event and you want to be remembered, I'm like, I'm going to be remembered. And they're like, are you? And then I thought, oh, what do you want to be remembered for? Okay, hang on. Put the face so they remember. And that face, just for the record people, has to be authentic, not something photoshopped.
Exactly.
Of when you were 100 pounds lighter and you had hair or something, like none of the stuff here. Like, absolutely. Make it realistic. Like, don't Photoshop it that your eyes are a certain way or a certain color when that's clearly not you.
To my point, you want to be able to be recognized when you show up.
Who's that? That's her. That's not the speaker we booked. She's clearly looking very different. She's eaten all the pies today. But it is about being authentic, and it is about being authentic.
Absolutely.
I have to giggle because we've talked have we nailed competing and comparing, or is there going to be an episode 2?
There may need to be. We're always open to having more conversations, but we'd love to hear how this landed. Are you aware of competing and comparing in your lives, dear listeners? And we need to kind of wrap this up. So maybe we do need to have a part 2.
I think we do, because I would like to know what techniques people use to when they do it.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And then we'll do a round 2 and we'll talk about what techniques we have.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think because this is a big, like our topics are big ones, but this is actually a big one because it can be one that can throw you right out. I mean, I was probably only out 20 minutes and then got incredibly thankful, but I was that day I was having a great day. So if I was having a 9 or a 10 in my funk and that hit me, it could have taken me further down.
Absolutely. Yeah. So talking about numbers as we wrap this one up, where would you say you are now, my dear?
Above you.
Of course you are.
I'll be a 0. I feel, where would I be? Well, you go first.
Okay, I'm going to say that I'm at a 1.
I was thinking a 1. Yeah. Because I don't want to be a 0.
Well, I don't think I've ever picked 0. To me, 0 would mean like that I think I've said this before. 0 would be that I've just come out of a 2-hour meditation and I'm completely and utterly connected with everything that is.
Yeah, I would say a 1, because if anything, we haven't given strategies in this call.
Right.
So I would say a 1.
Okay. And because while we think up strategies to share with them, with our dear listeners.
For our next call. Yeah. Yes. So that's where I would be. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, dear Deb. Thank you, dear listeners. Look forward to the next one.
Boom.
Done. Bye-bye.
Bye.